Okay. So last time I was having a bit of a problem, and that problem was that when I tried hosting, it gave me an error. Selections, host, game. And the issue that I found was not that there was some actual problem with like the library loading or anything or any function acting weirdly. It was the fact that sorry, not this. It was the fact that this particular piece of code, this was running more than once. So it was trying to get a gate ID from opening a gate with the same port multiple times. So in fact, this would have only given an error on the second frame, in which case it would kick you out. But since I put it in a trigger once, now it will only do only try this on the first frame. And then if you cancel out of it will close that gate, which allows for returning to the returning to the main menu or even the post game sub menu. Uh, or I guess it would be post game menu, which is selection 5. All right. Any case, so I guess at this point we have gotten a gate ID, which I can actually verify. See, it doesn't kick me out now. And debug ngid is 105. Double check that I didn't just. Okay, yeah. So, so we have a gate, and we can now use it after calling the run once code. So what I want to do is, I guess I would have to go ahead and put multiple states. So no, not a global variable. You need a post game state would be 0, and we want to set that set it so when we enter, and perhaps when we leave, just to make sure. In any case, under this state, we will go. Should I actually have it that we? All right, I suppose this requires a little bit of planning. So the idea is that the host opens a gate, then a client goes ahead and initiates a connection and sends first packet. So technically, it's a message. It could technically be divided up into multiple packets, if I remember correctly. I don't think I have the capability to handle that though. I I don't know. I haven't really tested uh, fragmentation. Right. Hmm. In this first message, it will contain a magic number, which will, I mean, it will contain a magic number, which is the ASCII representation of MBI. Then uh, I want 150 for 1.5.0, or if one prefers 1.5 and then a terminator. But the second part will be non-ASCII. It will be just a direct uh, 3 byte 150. And it's just a number there because mainly if this isn't present, then the packet being sent is probably not from MBI. In fact, I think I want this in the header. So I'm going to reserve 400 bytes for payload, 50 bytes for header, and 50 bytes for footer. Then I want a packet type. In this case, it will be 00. And I think mostly that's it for the header. If I need to expand on this, I can expand on it later. But then uh, unused bytes will be 0.00. Right. So a payload of 400, we want uh, the player's name, and we want the player's character. We want a few things. So because this will identify the version, and this will identify uh, player settings. I think I'm going to dedicate 1 byte to just settings with the with the first bit. the hide IP or hide node name setting. That way, even if a server host doesn't have this setting set, it will say, "Hey, please don't show the IP address." Perhaps I should have another byte for an expected server type, which for non-dedicated games is going to be a 0. Or a 0x00, or just a 0. I have an idea for later serve. Hold on, I'm gonna pause this because it's just walking through it. I have an idea for uh other server types, like a dedicated game server and uh, a map server, so that way one can upload and download maps. And these would work a little bit differently from the non-dedicated game server. Where a dedicated game server, I would allow the ability to have uh, a plaza, and that is when you connect uh, to it, you will download the game server's plaza, and this will just be like, oh, you can hang out here. It's like a hangout. Uh, instead of like a non-dedicated game server, which will just automatically assume that it's just waiting in a lobby with some other players. If that makes sense. Uh, and a map server will again allow you to upload or download maps. Maybe it's a download only. And then if I really wanted to go, uh, if I really want to get sweaty with it, then I guess I could just have like an authentication server, uh, which would allow for like, oh, you're signed up uh, with this authentication server, and they serve like a bunch of servers, a bunch of dedicated game servers, so that way they know who you are, and you get like, I don't know, statistics or something. Just things like that. Then after that, uh, I'm gonna put semicolons after everything here because that's how I started this. Currently unused, so yeah. So let's see. Player name can go between bytes 0x00 and 0x20. In 0x21, we'll have the player character ID. Uh, I'm not entirely sure what I had in mind, but I'm going to reserve bytes 22 to 22 to 2F for. Wait, hold on. Is one F is 16. 2O is 7. Or no, 0, 1, 2, ABC. F is 16, so 17, or F is 15. 16 would be 10, or 1, 0. So 1, 4 would actually be 20. Because I want 20 bytes reserved. So yeah, I'll actually just give 22 settings. Expected server type, I will put in. I'll put in 0x24. That way, if I ever need to expand the settings to a 32-bit thing, then I'll have the space. You know what? Just a little bit more space. Okay, so player name, uh, player char ID, settings, expected server type, unused is 00. I think this looks good. Okay, so the first thing I would have to do is validate the validate that. Hmm. Right. Then the host will go ahead and accept or decline. So then they would have to send back a packet that has the same header, except maybe First, I think actually I should have an actual server type, which could be 0x00 for a non-dedicated game. Zero x 01 for dedicated server. Maybe 0x02 for a dedicated server without a plaza. Actually, I could make this a little bit more simple. Non-dedicated server no plaza. Non-dedicated server plus plaza is would be then 0x01. Dedicated server no plaza is 0x02. And dedicated server plus plaza is 0x03. This way, you have 2 bytes here, or 2 bits here. 2 bits that would control whether or not the expected game is a dedicated server and has a plaza. I don't think 0x01 will be used. The reason why I would allow for accepting a expected server type connection of 0 with 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, and 0, 3 is because uh, 0, I'm just going to say is a default. So this would allow for uh, like if you're connecting to a server for the first time, and it was a non-dedicated game server, which means that it was just hosted by someone playing MBI, then the option to save that would probably like when you go back to the main menu, the option to like save this as a I call it the contact book because like come on, it's a phone. It wouldn't appear because it was a non-dedicated server and it might change IPs, it might just not exist in the future. Generally, it might not be there. But once it's a dedicated server, then it will be like, oh, hey, did you like your stay here? Would you like to add it to your contacts book? In which case, like, uh, that would be a dedicated server. And the reason why I would say dedicated server, no Plaza, and dedicated server plus Plaza is just so that way the client knows what is going to happen next, which is it can get ready for a plaza. And in fact, I think 0x01, uh, For NDS-NP, which is non-dedicated server, no plaza, uh, 0x01 to or 0x10 to 0x, hold on, 4 would be play or host player name. That's just for a non-dedicated server. For a plus plaza, I think what I will have then is one. I'll have a byte dedicated to save settings. This will allow for the plaza to be saved to saved as a special type of map uh, that will allow for reconnecting to not take so long, as one would have all the plaza and they wouldn't need to re-download it. Uh, so then 0x30 uh, 0x32, 0x33 would be a player count. This would allow for like this would allow for a lot more. Then again, you know what? You know what? 0x30, 0x31. If you have more than 65,535 players, then you, I don't know. You know what? I'm going to simplify this one step further. I don't think that any computer would necessarily want to draw 255 players at a time. So try not to get to 255 plus players. But I will leave some bytes uh, untouched for this reason. How much is that? Uh, 16. Let's see. 15 from 0 to well, like 31 bytes, if I'm correct. Hold on. X 31 bytes. Actually, that would be 32 bytes if I understand this correctly. So then we would have actually I'm gonna allow for 0x40 to 0x60. No. 0x40 to 0x7f. Okay, 7f minus. Yeah, we'll give 64 bytes for. There we go. So 3D, which maybe I'm just gonna. You know what? I'm gonna do something here. So the lowest bit will get highest priority when it comes to what the additional server is being used for. Nope, never mind. I'm just going to go ahead and assign it to IDs. Just in case a server wants to have a dedicated map server, so that way it doesn't have to uh, do it doesn't have to deal with sending and receiving maps. You know what? Hopefully this will be the second and final plan that I've made. Okay, so first we need to open up a port, which we have done. All right, great. Second, we need to go ahead and receive a message. So C++ code. Uh, so what we want to do is we want to grab a message, the first message particularly, and verify it. So where do we have our gate ID? Right, we have it here. So we have it in networking dot gate ID. So clean dot get get dot get child value. Okay. So with this, I can now go ahead and do something. We want to get the first message that is awaiting in a gate. Hold on, let me just double check. Okay, accept and deny are a thing. Okay, so actually this is a uint 8. And we need a buffer. actually, we need to do this if I remember correctly. Okay, so first message, uh, uint8 gid char buff, and it is a bool. Okay, so then once we have this, we know we have a incoming connection. This should be equal to the letter M. If we go back here, you'll see that MBI is supposed to be the first 3 bytes, followed by the bytes 0x01, 0x05, and 0x00. This is not going to be fun to write. And if I knew any better way to write this, I would. Any more succinct ways to write this. This will take care of the first 3 bytes. But that's not all to the magic number. Okay, so now that we have confirmed that this is a packet meant, sorry, hold on, a packet meant for MBI, or at least a packet that has a magic number that MBI looks for, then we'll look at 0x10 for the packet type. Uh, then we need to, after we have this, we need to verify the payload. So the player name should be anywhere between 1 and 20 bytes. Particularly, uh, If the player name is 20 bytes, then it will be 20 bytes long. But if it's 19 bytes, the string will be 20 bytes long because there will be 19 bytes of player name and then one terminator byte, which is 00. So for a 20 byte name, we don't have a terminator. For anything less, we will. Does this have the string? No. So we get a standard string and we want to make a for loop. We can deal with a if buffer at what is it? So a buffer at 400 bytes in, which is one nine zero. Then name is equal to PL name plus this. You know what? I'm going to just make this a UN16 anyways. So that way I don't have to do conversion to avoid it, warnings. Okay, this should leave us with a valid player name, or at least a player name that may need to be checked. Right, so right outside the for loop, I think size is a member of string. is less than 1. Then what I want to do is deny. The player doesn't have a name, then I don't know, there's issues. Okay, so then we would get past player name. Now we have to check player chart ID. We can do that by checking a very specific byte. .185, if my calculations are correct. Since there are 4 characters taking IDs 1, 2, 3, and 4, it is important to make sure that it's greater than 0 and less than 5. But wait, we want to check if it's less than 0 or greater than 5. In which case, we deny service and return. Or we deny and return. Right, so that would check this. Then settings. This can be a 0, 0, x 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Or this could be a 0x00 or a 0x01. The other bytes are not going to be checked, but this one will. Of course, this will be changed, particularly right after here. Char ID equals uint 8 e. So we cast it, and then if Right, so let's see. $15, $20. So wait a minute, I might have this incorrect. So we want to add 50. Uh, okay, 50 bytes, which is hex 32, and I know I'm gonna have to replace everything, but 20 bytes is 52. Okay, time to fix this. All right. So we have 0x00. So we need to change that to 0x32. 32. 32 plus 15 is 47. All right. Then the expected server type should be 0x00. 0x00, 0x01, 0x02, or 0x03. You know what? Expected server type 0x00. I'm going to go ahead and allow 0x00 to cover all of these, any range of 0x00 to a 0x03 to cover all of 0x00 to 0x03. So if buffer at, what is it? 0x028 or 0x0 or 0x28. So 32 plus 28 is 5a. So if it's greater than 0x03, then we do what we always do. Deny and return. All right, then I think that's everything. All right, I'm gonna unpause this timer now. So this should go ahead and get us past checking all of the things that are necessary. But we still have to copy them into something that gdevelop can work with. So let's put them into a few variables, particularly new player ID or new player name, uh, new player. You know what? Let's do this instead. If I remember correctly, that is the yeah. What is? Hold on. Let's try this. All right. This would be get value, set value. So we need to set string. But I already know from experience that we're going to have to convert it. Whereas right, static public members from locale. Okay, so if I remember correctly, the naming convention or the namespaces are gd string. I thought there was two, but I might be wrong. Wait, no, hold on. Yeah, there we go. That's what is needed. Okay. string from locale. Wait, hold on. I think the string is capitalized. I'm not entirely sure. Yes, it is. Now to remove the compiler prevention. Why did some tasks fail? Right, variable. Almost certain that this is not the thing that I'm looking for. But it should be that this returns a variable, right? So getChild does not have a class. All right. You know what? Okay. In this source file, (94.1), which is 4 and 1. Okay, let's see. Huh. Get returns a variable. GetChild is called upon a variable. For 71. Oh, that's probably why. Okay. Pro tip: don't do that. Don't do what I do unless I do something good. In which case, maybe. But don't put a dot after the function name to pass its parameters to like that. That was an idiot move on my part. It's compiled clean. All right, this I will not be able to test since I don't have anything sending or receiving any messages yet. However, I should go ahead and yes, uh, I wish I knew more about the runtime scene. That way I know if there's a new connection and what its parameters are. The other thing I need to do is if valid, then do this. Of course, tabs do not show up here, and I can make some code that looks very, very wrong with using tabs instead of spaces, but you know. Right. Any case. So after that, then we have, yeah, sure. I'm just gonna, there we go. Then we have, that's, then we have to actually display that to the user. So what we need to do is if variable networking dot new is equal to 1, then we know that there's a new connection coming in. Then we go ahead and do something like that. That will set host game state to 1, and with that, we will need a new part of this code. One will await the player accepting or denying a connection. So what we need to do is we need to display this. If I remember correctly, there are the things necessary. Are there? Hmm. Okay. all is here. Do I have an accept and decline button? Don't think I do. Do I? Hold on, let's check in here. I might have some old ones, but do I have any menu set? It's not very fancy. Reject. Okay, those are just mirrored. Wait, hold up. I'm like half certain that's not what I came in with. They were just okay. We do not have accept button objects. Okay, yeah, I think it's safe to say we don't have. Let's see, GUI menu accept and reject. If I remember correctly, in old versions, this was paired with text that would say accept or reject on them. Hold on, let me just take a look. Okay, yeah, it does display what type of. All right, just wanted to make sure that I wasn't making it confusing. I want to double check that though. So in the top here, it should say networking when I'm hosting over or when I'm hovering over. So tutorial, split screen, and host or networking. I gotta change this so it's a little bit more visible. You know what? I think I know what I'm gonna do. Not that. It'd be a stretchy object. I think I have something in here. What do these have? Okay. All right. Dang it. Much easier to see. All right. I still have one slight problem with one particular thing, and it's just I don't think the offset should be that much. I know this is not related to networking, but please, I'm just trying to make sure that this game is good. That is so much better. All right, back to uh, what I wanted to do, which is networking. Selections, post game. Right. Since I do not have a method for this to be working yet, I will go ahead and add a key combo. which will go ahead and do something like this. Then what I want is to play a particular sound. Which is, hold on, let me see if there's a function. So, for those who do not know and look to me for knowledge, power ringing and ringback are two different things, though they're connected if I remember correctly. Particularly, power ringing is what you hear when your phone, say, the Western Electric Model 500, uh, makes that ringing sound. It is the actual sound of a small hammer striking against two bells. Power ringing is what you hear when you're being called. Ringback is what you hear as a ringing tone when you're waiting for the other person to pick up. And guess what? Power ringing is not the same across the world. You will hear different rings, if you will, which is something, which is neat, I suppose. Uh, but it does make this a little bit harder. And I kind of wish I had I kind of wish I had a thing that I already. Hold on, where do I store the thing, the thing? No, setup. I think I load the fix there. Phone style, and this would be settings connection phone style. What is zero related to? right, so it's at 0, and let's see, what is its settings? Settings. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Oh, frick, I realized that I didn't close out the library. So, this is a bit of an ongoing problem, actually. That it seems like if I load from a autosave, it will do something weird with settings. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, it does something weird with escaped strings. Particularly, I have to re-escape them. All right, so it correlates to phone style 0. But why is yeah, I thought as much. Okay, that's gonna be a problem until I reload gdevelop. But whilst I am working on this, okay, it seems like I just had something at the end. Right, any case. So, uh, our phone style. If this is equal to 0, then I know what I want. So what I want to do here is something like this. What do I have for right? Okay. So global variable timer delta, and we want to add that. Then we want to do something here. Particularly, we want, dang it, I should not have deleted that. There we go. We want to get the font style settings. This will be Lunar City, and what we want here is a particular ring that I've come up with myself. Let me see. Hang up. Stop. And what do we play it on? 11. Play on channel 10. I guess I'm going to go with channel 11. And what we are going to play is a particular sound file, which is not in here. Ring single. Did I seriously give everything like the yeah, okay, I thought I had nope, busy signal because I forgot to change it for everything. All right. I'm going to put that there. And correct, it should not loop. Master, okay. So I'm gonna set these to various things. All right. Networking dot name. That's going to be a string. So we want test. For the connection test, and we want one for char ID, and I'm gonna have to get the IP address. Do I have that as a function? Waiting name. All right, I will. Uh, Wait, no, hold on. And then what I want to do is I want to copy that over into a buffer or into a string. But of course, because I believe these are null terminated, that means if h and b I is equal to 0, 0, 0, then break. This will iterate through until it reaches 0, 0, 0, or is meeting or is no longer meeting this condition. In which case, h and b, or in which case it will break out or just fail this condition. Whilst it's still active, it will go ahead and set hostname to hostname plus h and b, which basically just appends h and b, whatever character that is, to the string hostname. What failed? Get waiting name, waiting name. It's not get waiting name, it's just waiting name. GID, hostname buffer, and like GID should be. What? Okay. Okay, let's see. Should all be fine. Just put this right after. And I'll set that to the hostname. All right, you know what? I'm not going to worry about that because none of this is going to be tested at the moment. Actually, one thing I need to do here is and since this isn't automatic, we need to also set this to 0. So that way this only does this once every 5 seconds. For North America, this is once every 4 seconds. And also, this is a 2-second ring, which is used both. Because I like to have 2 seconds on, 3 seconds off, whilst North America is 2 seconds on, 2 seconds off. You know what? I have it open. Why is and defined reference? So let's see. What? Let's try this again. Does it still fail? No, no, it doesn't. Okay, I don't understand why it was giving me a rough time earlier, but okay. What we want is six and seven. Okay. Seven will be what's used, so what is the function name? Telephone. And it's primary art, right? Primary art is seven. So this should do nothing, actually. I have to close and open this again. And reopen. Yes, it will exist at some point. Oh, it's open already. Just went into the background. Let's see. Will this work? First, right. Now on to this. Not quite the behavior I was expecting. Let's try something here. So it might be that it just loaded in late, but I'm going to gonna add one thing here. This is going to bring it to 0. And it's going to do the same thing as this. Stop the music, channel 9. Ah, right, let's test this. Seems about right to me. Right, but we gotta do something. Right about here. So we copy this over and set it to 250. No. I'm not gonna let this end until I get that thing work. Close, but it don't open autosaves. How much am I set back? Doesn't look like I'm set back by too much. I don't know what caused it to crash there. All right, so the idea, right? The idea is that it will go ahead and continue whatever ring it is on, but it won't do it again. There we go. I think I know what's going on here. So first, I don't think it's closing out the gate properly. Otherwise, it would just allow me to go back in. But you know, child gate ID. Any case, there was something I wanted to do. probably just to hide this particular object. All right, this is probably going to be it for today. Never mind. I know what I wanted to do. Frick. All right, it will be a little bit longer. That way the ring is instant since it will not have to count up to 5. Okay. Okay. This should be it. I say that. I say that. But sometimes, just sometimes, most of the time, what I do doesn't work. But that's okay. That's what programming is all about. Things not working. Okay, I joke, but for me, for me at least, things mostly don't work except for the one time that they do. Seems to be taking a long time to compile. Still just waiting. Oh, now it just when I when I'm like, it's probably not going to compile. I will have to restart GDevelop in my mind, and then it just like, actually, you know what? Let's start compiling now. Oh, it's now stuck on this. Playing games with me, huh? All right, window, which then automatically it. There we go. On an instant. In an instant. Something like that. That is what I wanted to test. And this is it. This is it for this stream. So if you were watching the stream, thank you. If you are watching this later on YouTube, thank you. It's going to be it for me. So until I see you again, this is goodbye.